Yeah, hello everyone. So in last session, we have implemented this part, right? Count part. So here we are able to increase the count, and the moment count increases, our total price is also getting increased. This is what we have done. Now in today's session, I will just explain you how login works. So basically what we want to do is, we want user should get logged in based on some email ID and password. So basically what happens, so you create a sign up page here. You will create some UI components using your React. Okay, let's assume that you created some UI components using React. And here you have a button called register or sign up. Now user will enter some details here. He will enter some details and he will click on register. The moment he click on register, as a React developer, the first thing what you have to do is you have to get the data from this UI controls. You have to get the data from UI components. Second, validate the data. If you want, you can validate the data. Or send the data to server. Now to send the data to server, you require URL that will be given by backend people. In which format you have to send the data, that also in that information will also given by backend, and what is the method type you have to use. That information also backend people will give. And what response you are going to receive, that information also backend people will give. So all this information will be given by backend people. So you have to send the data. For that, you required this first three information. And after the sending the data, then they will send some response to you. And based on that response, what is the next step you have to do? That depends upon a client developer. Like if everything goes well, you can navigate user to login page. If something went wrong, like if user is not able to register, then you can show some alert message to the user. Now this completely depends upon what response you are going to get from the server. If user logins registers properly, then let's assume that we are navigating him to the login page. In the login page also, you have two text boxes. You have one button. Now here also same thing. User will enter some data. So first you have to get that data. Get the data from the UI component. Now how to get the data from the UI component? Already we have done in lot of examples. So for this, let me show you. So go to your sign in page. Now here we have two text boxes, text box 1, text box 2. Now whatever user will enter in this text box, that data I will store in my state. So what I will do, I will create one state for my component. Now, whatever user is typing, whatever he will type here, whatever he will type here, that data I will update in my state. So this is how I can get the data from this text box. So for this, we can have one state. Let's assume that it's a email, or I will say here user dot set user equals to one use state. We'll create one object here. In that we will add email and password. Now this state we will bind with our UI component to the value props. So for this value, we will say that user dot email, and here value equals to user dot password. And we can use on change event here. Whenever on change event triggers, one function will be called. With the help of event object, we will get the data of that particular text box and we will update in our state. So to update in our state, we have to call set user. We have to add new object, copy previous properties, and in that I want to update email with event dot target dot value. So whenever change event triggers, we are calling set user. In that set user, first we are copying the properties of previous object, and then we are updating the email. Same on change, you have to add here as well. Okay. So guys, just open your output and be ready. You have to show me after 15 minutes, everyone. Whatever you have done, you have to show. So on change, we have to add here. Same thing what we have done in lot of sessions. So getting the data and we are updating in our state. And now whenever user click on this login button, we are calling the login function. And that login function here, we are calling this login function. Now here we have to write some code. What code? First, let's see whether we are printing that, we are able to print that data or not. So here I will say user. Right click, go to the inspect, go to the console, let me refresh, and let me add here something. sagar@gmail.com and sagar@123. Let me see if I'm doing something wrong. Here it should be user.email, user.password. Yeah, here it should be password. Refresh. Here sagar@gmail.com I am adding. Here I'm adding sagar@123. So this is my username, password. If I click on sign in, now here I should get that data. So here object is printing. In that object, it is printing email and password. So we are able to get this data now. Nothing but we are able to get the data from UI component. Second, what we have to do? We have to do validation. Now to do this validation, you can just use your regex concept of JavaScript. You can create some patterns. If you don't know regex, just explore that regex in JavaScript. Using regex, we can create some pattern and we can check it whether our username is following this pattern or not, whether our password is following this pattern or not. That part you can implement here. Here you can add your validation. You can add your validation. Like first of all, you have to check whether user is entering any email ID or not. Suppose he is not entering email ID, is just entering password and clicking on sign in. Then what you have to do? You have to show that user is not entering here email ID. So how will do that? So for that, you have to write here some validation. Like here you can say if state, if user dot email, if it is equals to empty, if it is an empty string, then you should not allow user to submit the, you should not allow user to submit that data. So user dot email equals to length. Then what you have to do? Else. Next, what you have to do? Again, here, if I want, I can check it. User dot password. If it is equals to empty, then what I should do? Else, what I need to do? Like this, we can do lot of validations. Instead of writing like this both, if you want, you can use AND operator also. And here itself, you can check user dot password. If it is equals to empty, then what you have to do? So both, if you want to check at a time, you can check it here, or else you can check one by one. Here you have to add the validation code. So check whether user is entering email ID in proper format or not. For example, he is entering just Sagar, but we want email ID should be in the gmail.com format. If it is not in the gmail.com format, then we should not allow him to log in. So for that, we have to create a format, and that format you can create using your regex in the JavaScript. So explore regex, then you will be able to create patterns, and using if else, you will be able to check whether user is entering proper data or not. Proper data or not. If everything goes well, after validation, if everything goes well, third step, send the data to server. You have to send the data to server. Now to send the data to server, server people will give you URL. They will tell you method type and which format you have to send the data. That format will be given by them. Format means when you are sending username or email or password, what should be the key? What should be the value? So value will be what user is entered in the text box. But while sending that data, what should be the key? Now here I have taken in my object key as an email. And for this, I have taken password. Now, whether you have to take email only or something else you have to take, that will be decided by server side people. So they are going to tell us how you have to send the data. Now let's assume that they have given us URL. So we will use axios.post because we are sending the data now. Here we will add the URL as a first argument. And in second argument, we will send the data. Suppose if our data format is matching with his data format, then directly you can send this user. Already we have seen, right, how to do post request using your that JSON server. Same thing you have to do. Just this URL will be given by server side people, and this object you have to create based on what data format they gives. And then you have to handle here promise, then and catch. Suppose if everything goes well, then what we want to do, we want to navigate user to the home page. So to navigate to the user to the home page, what we have to do, we have to call this dispatch with logging action created inside this then. Suppose if something went wrong, if user is entering some wrong password or wrong email ID, or if that user doesn't exist, then based on that response, cache will execute based on error. Then here we have to show some alert message, or what you can do is after this input, here you can create some span like username is not valid. So if I just go back here and if I add some style to this, color as a red, it will show like this. Now, what we want here, if I add text align also, left, let's see, here it is not adding text because of some CSS or what. Let's see here. Yeah, here text align, text center we have added, right? Or else here what we can do, we can add some class and we can use exclamatory important rule so that text align for this will be left. So right now I will maintain this part here. Now this username is not valid. We want to show only if user is or email is not valid, something like that. We want to show only if there is any error from the server. So initially we want to hide it, but we don't want to show. So what we can do is we can create one state here. Let error, comma, set error. And here we can call use state. Initially we will make it false. Initially there is no error. And here we will write one condition. So this span we want to show only if the error is true. So if error is true, then only we want to show that span, or else we want to show null. Null means nothing. Like this, you can write it. So initially it will not be shown. But let's assume that something went wrong. And after that, I want to show that. So what we have to do in this catch, we can write that code. We can call set error and we can make it true. So whenever set error is true, then that error message will be shown. So here, if I make it true, then that error message will be shown. If I make it false, then it will not be shown. It will not be shown. Same thing you have to do for your password also. So like this, some alert messages you can show. And here we have created action creator for our login. So here, whenever user is logged in successfully, then we will call this dispatch action creator. So that logic you can add here, Axios logic. Now again, Axios logic you can add here, or else what you can do is you can just create a separate file as a service. In that you can add it and you can import that code here, the way we have done for remaining things. So what are the things you have to implement? First, you have to get the data from the UI components. Next, you have to do the validation. Then you have to send the data to server. And then based on response, you have to decide whether user should navigate to the home page or show the error messages. Error messages. This is what you have to do. So for this, you require no backend application. So once you have backend application, then you can implement this part. So here, right now, we are working only on front end. That is the reason I'm just giving you points what you guys have to do once you know the backend part. This is how you have to work on the login part. So right now, I'm directly clicking on sign in. It is navigating me to the home page. But this is what you should not do. So whenever user enters something, first we have to get the data from the text boxes. Second, we have to validate it. Third, we have to send the data to server. Now, based on response, you have to decide whether user should navigate to home page or show the error message. Show the error message. So to navigate to the home page, that logic we write in the then, and to show the error message, whatever logic is required, that logic we will write in catch. We'll write in catch. This is how you guys are going to work on sign in part. In the way how we have developed products, and here we are showing all the product details. Like this, what you can do, you can create some products for men's and you can show here. So we have different products for men's, like we have jeans, we have shirts, we have t-shirts, right? So all those you can create, and if you want, you can create the filtering for that part. So user can filter it. Same thing with the women's clothing, same with the kids clothing. And for them, for that products also, you have to implement this product details. If you click on product details, you should be able to navigate to the product details, show all the product should be able to add in the cart. And if you go to the cart, you should be able to see all the total amount. And if I increase this count, cart shouldn't get increased. Yeah. Now, can you show how many of you done till what? So one by one, can you guys start sharing your screen now?
Yes, sir. One question here. So like we passing the URL only. So if you pass that token, then how can we do that, sir?
Yeah, for that, something like this, it will happen. So whenever you send the request to a server, right, with the response, that server side people will generate some token. Some we call it as a JWT token. That token they will send. Now that token you can store anywhere. If you are using Redux, you can store in Redux. If you create context, you can store in context, or you can store in your local storage of the browser as well. Okay. So now let me show you one example on that. So I will just minimize this part. Let me open one Node.js project. This is backend application. Now here, if I have to start my backend application as well. Okay, now here we have sign in. This is our application. Okay, this is current application which I'm showing. Now, if I right click, go to the inspect, and if I just go to this console, and here we have plus. If I go to this application tab, where you will be able to access your local storage. Now, if you see in this local storage under this URL localhost colon 3000, there is nothing here. There is something called Chakra UI, but apart from that, there is nothing here. Now, whenever I enter here wrong URL, right now I'm just showing here one alert message. User does not exist. Now, this response I'm showing, this alert message I'm showing based on the response I got from the server. But let's assume that I am entering a valid username here. Valid email ID, valid password. The moment I click on sign in, you will see here one token got generated. One token is generated. Now this token is created by your server side people. So whenever you send a request to your server, so this is your login page, you will enter some email ID and password and you will send one request to your server. With that request, you will send your login details. Now server people will receive your request. They will access that data, nothing but email ID and password, and they will connect with their database. After connecting with the database, they will check with this username and password, is there any user registered in their database, in their application or not, whether that details is present in the database or not. If yes, if they find that there is a user with that email ID and password, then what this backend people are going to do, they will generate one token here. They will use some services and they will generate some token. It's like a unique ID. Now that token they are going to send with the response to us. With the response to us. So here that token got generated. If I just go and see the console, if I just click on that console, if you see here, this is the response I am getting from the server. What is that response? In that I am getting here a property called OK as a true, and result I am getting some result I am getting here, and then one token I am getting. So if this token, if you receive at your client side in a response, it means that is a valid user. So as a client developer, what we will do once we receive that token we will store in our local storage, or wherever you want you can store, in Redux or in context API, wherever you want you can store. Now from second time, whenever user clicks on any links, for example, he wants to get all the product details. So at that time, with that request, we have to send this token. Whatever token we have received from second request, whatever API calls you will do, with your API calls, you have to send this token. So how we send normal data, in that way, you have to send the token. So if this token is available in your request, then only server side people will process your request. If that token is not present, if token is present and it is not matching with what they have created, then again they will not process the request. In the first time, whenever I have entered wrong username and password, it is sending me the data. It is sending me the response. In that response, if you see, I just got this OK as a false. And if you see here, there is no token. And here I got one error that user does not exist. So if token is not received, it means user is invalid. And if he is invalid, then you will not allow him user to process further. So this is how token system works. So first time, whenever you send a request, that to whenever you are logging, if everything is valid, then they will generate one token. That token will be sent back to client. Now what client will do, he will store that token somewhere in some storage. Now from second time, whenever he is sending any request, Second time, whenever he sends any request for anything, then with that request, he will send that token. He will send that token. And server side people will receive this request. They will verify that token. If it is valid, then only they will process the request. If that token is expired or if that token is invalid, if token is not present with the request, they will not process that request. They will simply send one response back to the client that token is missing. Suppose here, if I right click, go to inspect, and if I go to this application tab, and here I have a token. Suppose if I clear this, and here I am trying to click on products. Whenever I click on the products, here I will get the issue. What is that issue? Here see error JWT malform, means we are not sending any token to them. So there is some issue with the JWT token. It means they haven't received any token. They haven't received any token at server side. So that is the issue they have got here. Now let me go back here. Let me clear this part. Now here I got sign up. Now here I will enter. Now click on sign in. Now token will be generated. See here we got that response. Result token. This is the token what we got it. Now this token is stored. Now if I go to products, I will get proper details here. Now here I am searching for product details also. So here it is not implemented, but if you click on this product details, you should get that product details here. Product details here. And now whenever we want to get product details, again, we will send a request. So whenever you are sending a request from second time, you have to send that token. That is what you have to do. This is how token system works.
Yeah, yes, and that is okay. Now I'm asking for like we doing like the xjs.get post and the not like is specifying like is where is the header and the body. In general, like we token sending in the header, like we set the content type and the barrier and the token. So where we can that attribute a
That's what in the
specific.
second object only. I have told you in Axios logic, right? So you have to take third object, third argument. In that you have to send headers details, complete header details you have to send. While explaining about JSON server, I told you first argument will be your URL, second argument will be your data, third argument will be one object where you can send your header details.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now can you guys show how many of you done up to here? This is what I wanted to explain your entire project part. So this is only front end part which we have done. Yeah, you can start sharing, guys, now. Now remaining things, whatever it is pending, all that you have to implement now. Same process we have to apply. Whatever we have done till now, same thing you have to do. But just you have to deal with different data, different category. That's it. Yeah, just show how much you guys have that. Yeah, who wants to go?
It's saying hosts have disabled screen sharing.
Just let me check. Yeah, now you can. Nice.
Yeah, I bumped into another error. I don't know where my problem is. In product details. 11.
Just show me how much you have done. That error rate we will do later on, rectify part, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I've done until up to the cart,
Cart.
adding to the cart. Yeah.
Are you able to add the product into the cart?
Using the console, yes. I was adding and I was still on the process and I have an error again.
Okay, okay. Just
Yeah.
rectify it in case we are facing any errors. Okay, just ping me on WhatsApp, plus send me your code. So how you have done last time, you have updated your code in the repository.
Yeah.
Send that link and let me know exactly what error you are facing. Okay.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else, guys? Okay, now you guys have to start working on it. So what you guys have to do, guys, whenever you are working on this project, if you stuck somewhere, if you know Git, just update your code on Git and send me that URL and let me know the issue what you are facing on WhatsApp. Then I will just have a look on your code. I will try to rectify that issue exactly where you are facing. Then I will give you the solution. Now you have to work on all this part. First, work on what I have developed. First, you should be perfect with all these things, whatever I have done. Okay. So once you are good with this part, then you have to move and work on this remaining things. See, remaining things are same. So whatever I have done with the products, same thing you have to do with men's, women's, and kids data. Just data will change. Apart from that, nothing else. Profile. Here you have to create one profile component. We have created, if you remember initially while exploring state concept, I have created one profile card where we have implemented dark theme, light theme, and we were displaying all the details of the user. So like this, you can create one profile component or profile page. If you don't get idea what user interface you have to create, just search for profile page. Now here, if you get, you will get lot of UI. So just have a look on this UI and get the idea and develop one profile page for it. And that profile component you have to add here. So when it comes to front end, you should know how to create UI, how to design UI, and how to display the data in the UI. This is what a front end developer is going to do. Remaining things, all calculations or whatever processing need to be done, everything will be done by server. Even filtering, sorting, even adding two numbers will not be done in the front end part. Everything will be done in the back end part. So whenever you want to do any kind of actions, you are going to send a request to a backend developer. You will say that this is what the data I have, this is what I want to be done. Now they are going to do all that actions and they will send you the response. So once we got the response, we will create some UI, we will display the data. So here, if you see, here we have implemented this filtering part. We have written the logic for it. So electronics, jewelries, men's wearing, all that. But in real time, you will never implement filtering logic also. If I click on electronics, you will send one request to the server, and with that, you will send the category name. Now, they will do all the logic filtering part. They will send you the data of only electronics. Now that data you will display here. So In Redux also, we will just replace the data. Instead of storing use all product data, we will store electronic data. Suppose if I click on all back, again we will send one request to a server, we will get all the user data, that data we will store in the Redux. And from Redux we will fetch and we will show. Or else we will create multiple properties, all electronic jewelry. So first time you will send the request and you will store the data. From second time, you will get the data from Redux and you will show it on the application. So depending upon what is your requirement, how you are going to architect it, how you are going to code it. So now you have to work on this remaining parts. So whenever you get any kind of doubts, whenever you are working, if you're stuck with something, you have to just WhatsApp me. You have to send your GitHub. Just send the code on GitHub, send me that URL and let me know the issue what you are facing. In this way, you have to work on this. Now I will update some interview questions on React in your repository. Some interview questions, some professional PDFs I will update. Just go through all that, go through that PDFs. If you encounter with any new concept in React, so the first step is you have to go and explore that concept in react.dev website. So this is the official website of your React. So on this website, you have to go and you have to look about that topic. Suppose if you don't understand on react.dev, then you can just go through some other website like Gigs of Gigs, Free Code Camp. So these are the platforms where they will provide lot of articles on different topics, and they will explain in little bit easiest way with some examples. So you can read their articles, you can execute their examples so that you will get and you will understand the concept. But this react.dev is the official website of your React. Anything you want to learn in React, that will be present on this react.dev. And this react.dev documentation they have created in such a easiest and simple way, even a fresher reads that documentation, he can understand. If you don't understand here, then only just go with some third party websites and you can read the articles on different topics. And one more is medium.com. So these are what I prefer. So if you have some other sites in your mind which you feel that are better compared to this, then you can explore that as well.
Chat GPT, sir.
Chat GPT में ना थोड़ा सा ना lot of content is not right, guys. Okay, so just be careful with Chat GPT. Okay, sometimes they will give a wrong information. So as they are improving their versions, it is getting improved. But yes, you can use Chat GPT, but don't completely depend upon Chat GPT. If you read something in Chat GPT, then make sure you are going to the official documentation and rechecking it. So first time when you read here, you might not understand. But if you refer Chat GPT or these websites, you will get the idea of that concept. Once you got the idea of that concept, again go back to the official website and read about that topic, read about that concept. Now you will understand. First time if you read directly on react.dev, you might not understand. In that case, you can follow all these sites. Now you will get the idea of your concept. Now, once you got the idea of the concept, then again go back to the React dev and explore that particular article or a topic. In this way, you will be able to explore. But make sure, guys, first preference should be always to the official site. Any technology you learn, always prefer this one. And I will provide you official documentation of JavaScript as well. So there you will find all the rules of JavaScript. All the rules of JavaScript means, for example, suppose I have a number 2 plus 2. I have two numbers. I have data, both are number type. If I add both the numbers, what happens? Suppose if I have one number, one string, if I add, what happens? If I have a number and if I have a boolean, if I add, what happens? If I have a string and if I try to add with a null value or undefined value, in that case, what happens? So all these rules already defined in your ECMAScript. So this much detailed information or this much detailed content, if you try to learn anywhere, then you have to finish your graduation in JavaScript. It means you have to spend nearly 4+ years only learning JavaScript. So that much big the JavaScript is. So where you will find all this information in the JavaScript specification. So I have a PDF of it. So let me just show you that PDF as well. So it contains around 800 pages. So here JavaScript interview questions I will provide. JavaScript documentation, React interview questions also I have. So this is the ECMAScript official documentation of your JavaScript. So how your bitwise shift operator works, right? How your left-hand side expression works, how your statement semantic works, declaration and variable statements, all that rules are present here. So nearly 800 pages we have. So directly I have a PDF, or else you can just search for ECMAScript specification in the Google. You will land on their website. So whenever you get a time, just give a look on this basically PDF, so that you will understand how official JavaScript specification looks like. So this is the official React JS PDF. Like I have some PDFs, I will provide that. This is interview questions. So these are some of the very famous interview questions which people are asking in companies. So I have collected all these interview questions from the people who attended the different interviews in different companies. So if you just go through this, all the interview questions, if you have the answers for all this, then it will be good. So whenever you go for any interview, make sure you know the answers of all those interview questions. So before attending any interview, just refer all these questions and check yourself. Do you know the answers of all those questions or not? If you don't know answer of certain question, just go to the Google, refer it, refer your paint files, refer your PDFs and just check the answer. And this is one of the interview question which I got from the internet. So here it contains nearly 400 questions with the answers, 400 or something. Yeah, around 330 questions. So like this, what is the difference between use state and use ref? So different ways people are asking the questions. So they have given the answers also. Just I found this from the internet. So whenever you guys get a chance, just go through this part also. If you think that something is not in our syllabus, but you find that question, or if you find that topic, what is the best way you have to do? You have to just go and do research on that topic. You have to explore that topic, read that topic articles on different websites. Suppose you are reading on react.dev, you understood something. Still you want to know about it. Go and refer on Geeks, go and refer on FreeCodeCamp, medium.com. Now these are very standard platforms. Or else if you have something in your mind, some other platforms, refer there. So just explore that topic. Like this we have to do. And the people who joined as a UI full stack, so for them from 26th, we are starting with Angular, guys. At same time, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Here I'm going to teach TypeScript. Okay, because Angular we works on TypeScript and Angular 18 we will explore. So this is the current version and there are a lot of changes in the Angular 17. So Angular 17 came with a very new syntaxes and multiple changes they have done. So we are going to learn Angular 18. But in industry, no one might be working directly on Angular 18. Everybody might be working on Angular 14 or 15 or 16 max. So the projects which are started recently after the introducing version 17 and 18, only those projects might be working on 17 and 18. But the projects which started 6 months back, 1 year back, or 2, 3, 4 years back, then they might be working on this versions only. But as students' mentality will be like always, they have to learn, they want to learn new versions. So while working on 18, we will understand the differences in 16 and 18. So what is the difference they have? We have in 18 and 16. Like there are some concepts we use in some other way in 16 and we use in some other way in 18. So in 18, they have made lot of things very simple compared to this versions. And as we know that Angular releases its new version for every 6 months. In every 6 months, they releases new version. So right now, 18 is the latest version, which we are going to explore. So now what you guys have to do, you have to work on this part. And whenever you are working, if you get any kind of issues or errors, ping in our WhatsApp group only, guys, okay? So why I ask you to ping in WhatsApp group? Because if similar doubt, if some other student has, then it will be rectified. Yeah, so that's all from my end. Like if you have any doubts, let me know. If you don't have any doubts, yeah, you can leave. So from tomorrow, we don't have any sessions. Now you have to work on this part. First, work on all these things, what I have done. If you're stuck anywhere, if you're not understanding something, connect with me.
So, what of resume guide?
Uh, for what?
Resume guide for React JS.
Resume guide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Resume guide, I will take one session, guys, on that. Okay. On Saturday or Sunday, I will conduct one workshop.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I will let you know exactly what you have to do on the resume part. Okay. But make sure whenever you are creating resume, don't only mention React JS. In skills, whenever you are mentioning anything related to React, mention React JS, mention Redux, okay, mention Axios. In your resume, all these terms should be available. So what people does, they just mention React JS. They don't mention Redux. Now remember, Redux is a separate library. It is not a part of React. It is just a separate library which we integrate with React. Axios is not part of React. This is also a separate library which we integrate with React. In the same way, we have React router also. React router is nothing but your React router DOM. React Redux as well. So all the libraries which are related to React, which we have learned, that you have to mention. Okay. I will take one workshop on this resume building. There I will mention exactly what you have to add in your resume. Yes, that's all guys from my end.
Sir, can I get a GitHub link one more time, sir? The updated one.